and welcome to the next episode of Cothagian Federation. In this episode, I kind of want to start out by learning some of these things that I have not clicked on at all. If you don't want to hear me reading a whole bunch of backstory stuff, just skip ahead to some amount of time. But, yeah, okay. According to historical records, Hippone as a city is older than Cothagian itself. Founded millennia ago by Zonakin colonists, it quickly became one of the most preeminent cities in northern Zebrica, thanks to its geographical location and excellent deep-water harbors. Nestled between hills, it has always been easy to defend, and history has treated it far better than Cothagian. Many ancient buildings stand to this day, mostly unharmed and well-maintained by the citizenry. These marvelous buildings hint to the rich culture of the city. Throughout history, Hippone has been the cultural heart of Zonakin civilization. It is a shining example of urban planning, with the streets closely following the contours of the hills surrounding the city center. There are numerous parks and orchards full of tropical plants. These green areas are favored by the city's numerous artists and musicians, who enjoy the calm refuges from the urbanity. The beauty of the city is funded by the wealthy local merchants, who are also patrons of the arts. The partisans draw their prosperity from the vital east-west naval trade, acting as an interpot stopping point for the traveling ships. However, the recent modernization of the Cothagian Republic and other nearby nations has replaced wooden vessels with long-range ships of steel, which can travel directly to their destination. As such, Hippone imported has diminished over the years. It is almost like the city itself refuses to adapt to modernity, as its partisans wish to preserve the beauty of the city. The first factories and urban apartments of Hippone were purposely built far from the city proper. Time will tell if the look of resistance to modernity will last much longer. The city will either adapt or fade into irrelevance, becoming little more than a beautiful tourist attraction. The home of 1,000 ships. The ancient city of Cothagian, gleams white as one approaches it from the Bay of Zam. Over time, 1 million sailors must have seen the sight of Zebrica's most famous harbor appearing from over the horizon, the promise of a voyage safely brought to an end. As your ship enters the massive artificial harbor complex, the modern extension of Cothagian's Cothagian Harbor, you are greeted by the sight of sheer endless merchant vessels from all corners of the known world. Protected piers and docks shelter vessels from the harsh weathers and enemy attack. But it is behind this harbor that the ancient genius of Cothagian reveals itself. The famous round harbor of Cothagian, a truly massive naval base, expanded and reinforced over the centuries. After Zonakin forces left the city, the harbor was turned into a daunting fortress with concrete dry docks and anti-aircraft turrets. Some of the elegance of ancient times is lost, but the improvements ensure that the one who holds the home of 1,000 ships will be dominate on the seas between Zebrica and Griffonia. Once disembarked, you will inevitably get lost in the ancient Zebra city. The plastered homes and shops of the lower ancient town are like a maze. Now and again, the opening up to crowded market squares. When you find your way to Byraza Citadel, you will notice that the Cothagians have kept its ancient walls, which tower over the buildings of the lower city, a solemn promise that the city will never again fall to invaders. The Citadel houses with the most important buildings of the state, as well as quarters for the sacred band of Cothagian. Its most elite military formation, notable is the Temple of Zeirutid, king of the Cothagian pantheon, which was restored after a Zonakin artillery shell almost collapsed the roof. The 127, the judges of Cothagian, also hold their tribunal here. Yeah. Although the might of the institution has waxed and waned with the city's rulers. Once you reach the highest point of the city, its actual size finally reveals itself. A park surrounding a canal suggests where the city's ancient walls must have been, but beyond there, modern factories and houses stretch out in every direction. Beyond them, Cothagian's rich farmlands staring at the little dot on the horizon. The ship you landed on, it is fair to wonder how much a city was ever brought low. And the next time you will cross the pass with a Cothagian merchant or sailor, you will nod and greet it, when they boast proudly of their home, the home of 1,000 ships. And the last one, the border fort. In the 7th century before lunar banishment, when Cothagian traders looked north towards Euphronia, another city founded a fort at the bay, which later grew into Kizil Zeb Zur, was Carthage's ancient and legendary rival, and Kazil Zeb was a gambit to whisk eastern trade away from their more dominant neighbor. The fort, named Mezuda, and her natural harbor, provided a safe haven for Macawean and Hindian ships, after which their wealth was directed towards the mother city. As the Zonica wars raged between Carthage and Carthan, Zur profited and eventually became the hegemonic power in northern Zebrica, which caused the colonists from Kizil Zeb to project power over the area, now known as Koltva. Zur prominence did not last long, however, and exactly 600 years after Metzuda was founded, Kizil Zeb declared independence from the mother city, only for Koltvaj to eventually come to exert influence over Koltva. Yet again, influence from Hindia and Mekwia, along with the old legacy of Zur, meant that Kolthaj never fully managed to culturally absorb Koltva, and especially during the rule of Kaga Khans over Zonica, the two cultures diverted. The advert of modernity and the atrocities committed during the fight against the Storm King fueled Koltvan unrest and cemented the Koltvan identity in opposition to the Cothagian culture. Kazil Zeb itself is exemplary of the history of Koltva, as many of the larger Koltvan towns, a colonial fort, stood in the center, although modern government buildings and houses now dot the old corridor. Eventually, Koltvan culture seeped into the city, until only buildings remained of Zur's legacy. Around the city center, winding narrow streets are flanked by high, sometimes overhanging buildings with dizzying colors, inspired by Wakawian, Hindian, and Zur architecture over the centuries. Look closely, you might find old homes doubling as warehouses, which belonged to Macau or deer merchants. Small plazas with fountains and shady trees keep the city livable in the hot summer, if you know where to find them. To a Carthaginian, Kazil Zeb is a little different from home than it should be, an overwhelming mix of styles, accents, and impressions, but for Koltvans, it is their little capital. Yay! Alright. Restore the Zonakin fleet. The fleet has somewhat languished in recent times, but now should be a source of pride and accomplishment. Redirecting efforts to restoring the fleet would be a good start in invigorating some national pride, as well as protecting our coastal borders. Well, good luck, Crystal City. So Stalingrad's actually not doing very good in this war, like, at all. And now Stalingrad's gonna die because they tried to attack Equestria instead of working with them, and then the Changing Land declared war on them. And I definitely don't think them and their little puppet alliance have any chance against this. Also, they declared war on the Jackie clan for no apparent reason. In fact, all that's gonna do is they're gonna help Yakistan win and possibly end up taking a province or two that just gives it to the Changing Lands and makes them more powerful, and Yakistan have even less than a 0% chance of beating the Changing Lands. So yeah, you have ruined everything and are gonna die for it. Hope you're happy. So yeah, this continent is a lost cause. Just going to ignore them now. This continent's major powers seem to be a bit of a lost cause do. How about the east? Prywin? Yeah, there's some guys. The Lake City has conquered the River Republic and turned them into a tiny puppet state. That's an interesting one, I guess. Oh no, the puppet state visits them? Okay. Good for you, I suppose. Found the Zonakin Coast Guard. Rather than having slow, cumbersome ships protecting the coastal borders, it may be prudent to have a rapid reaction force, a coastal guard of sorts, to protect us from pirates, smugglers, and the like. Makes sense. Ramal's just sitting there. Okay. I'm peaceful. I'm no threat to you. Don't mess with me. I can be like the Pope in our modern times, right? Just a tiny little city-state, like, maybe you take over the West Romal part, and let me keep Romal. I'll just be the Vatican City of this world, right? Yeah. That's all I need, I'll give you, I'll proclaim you the new emperor, and say you have claim to all the lands of the old empire. Yeah. Can I please live and keep some land, please? And that's what's going on over there. So it's interesting. The air-to-sea coordination principle. Mixing the unique aspects of strong air power with that of an ocean-going surface fleet brings up a wealth of possibilities, especially for projecting our force power around the seas. Sure. So I was playing through these guys. In fact, yeah, this path. Well, I was playing the Socialist Republic of Longsword, and I went through a couple of their focus trees, kind of checking out them, and I realized that these guys are so easy to win their little three-way civil war. They have this like mini focus tree that you can go down. I finished the Civil War after just completing the first focus of it. It makes kind of the point of the mini focus tree kind of useless when you don't even get through the second focus. And then these parts, the original people, are nearly impossible to win with. Like, the balance there is so weird. I didn't try them, but from what I've heard, they're in the middle. But I played these guys, went through a few of their paths, super easy to do, so I tried them out a few times, trying out their different paths, and then tried them once and got completely destroyed. Yeah, it's very easy to play as them, as the AI can show you right now. Ooh, they got the Majocracy in control. I have never actually gone with the bandit path. I'm assuming you do this path. I wonder if there's also a path for this one, because I've never gone down through the looking outwards side. Because I found out necromancy and the spiritual one, and never tried the other one. Restore the trade fleet. For generations, Carthage has been a trade economy. Going back to the most ancient times of the Zonikins, our ancestors have piled the waves for prosperity. To enable our cities to once again follow this calling, we must restore the great fleet of trade vessels that form the backbone of Cothagian maritime power. Yes, we must. Okay. Okay, actually, what do I have that? Because I don't want to get ahead. So I'm going to do you and you. No. So, Macawea, you had some stuff over here at one point, huh? I also really hope, like, sure, Macawea will get a focus tree probably eventually, but I really hope these guys get a focus tree, because look at this guy. Look at that, like, he just looks cool. And because he looks cool, he should get a focus tree. I'm really interested in what these guys will get as well. Alright. Alright. Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Tyr is no longer the main threat. Refurbish the Zonakin fishing fleet. As with all things, it would be a useful source of improvement to refurbish and bring the fishing fleet up to standard, or at least repair and salvage what we can. A strong fishing cadre serves the foundation of naval power. You know, you could, like, I probably would have said no. But I mean, you could have asked me if you wanted my help. I don't know, I might have said yes, honestly. But it doesn't matter, because you didn't ask. It's just because these few big boys. I'm also curious about this one, literally just because to me it looks like they should really be part of this federation. Like, I feel like I'd end their borders with this plus that, and then say, okay, those are their borders. But, that just makes me more curious about them, because, well, they're not like that. I'm also extremely curious about this group. I bet a Zur will get some, well, eventually, eventually, and I do mean eventually, but eventually, like, 90% of this will have focus trees, because, like, 90% of the other continents do, so, it's kind of something like, we plan to make all of it have content. It'll take some time, but eventually it will. Man, I think this is the first time I've seen Warzina. Like, I've even seen Ares win this, but Warzina almost always dies for some reason, even if that happens. Like, Warzina never gets to live. They just seem to be meant to die, but oh, actually, that might be the case this time, too. Even if they win, they can't win. Our movement has always been deeply in touch with the rural citizens of our nation and their needs. Equality and opportunity with those in the big cities must be established, and the first step to that is connecting the rural regions to central power grid. Electricity is the way of the future, and everyone needs access to it. True, true. I mean, do they really need Yes, they need access. Oh, you guys aren't working together anymore. Well, I guess you're about to fight. Oh, well. We're gonna have a war over here as well. Man, all those fighting. In fact, every nation with a focus tree is at war besides me and them. Yes, dude. The peaceful ones. Who declared this war? The Zeirutid War. And yeah. Okay, so the Zeirutid declared this war. And, well, it's going great for them. Just great. Economic Things have begun to flow smoothly now with the input of all three factions of the NUF. Our economic system is proving to not only be functional, but prosperous. We have shown the tyrants that neither tyranny nor government-based capitalism is required to reach prosperity in the modern world, and that working for the citizens is a way forward for all economics. Yay! Keep focusing on civilian stuff. Okay, so you're definitely in the winning position, but I feel like you're, like, struggling to finish them. You should be able to take out Zeirutid soon enough, and when you take them out, you should be able to turn around and finish them off. That's what I guess is for what's going to happen here. If I could, I honestly might just justify a war and declare war on you. But I literally just can't. You're still getting supremacist support? Haven't dealt with them? Can they not deal with them in that path? Where are we winning? Why are they still growing? The Wolfpack Theorem. One vessel may strike true, but a coordinated group of vessels hunting like the wolves of the land. This is an intriguing idea that we may be able to leverage in our naval theory. Yep, very unique. Never thought of before idea. Definitely no one's ever thought of it before. I'm sure of it. And this would really just be mine, you know? Can he, like, give that to me? Sure, we'll fund the shipping industry. The Zonakin Naval Infantry Corps, combining the strength of sailors with the rugged adaptability of those bound to serve on land, will permit greater potency in naval actions, especially if boarding is required. Strong sea legs will help our troops greatly. Naval soldiers, what an idea. Never would have thought of it. Seems completely insane. We shouldn't do it. I throw the idea out. No reason to do it. Sounds like it would suck. Yep, I mean, who would try that insane idea? Yay. Insanity. You are also definitely going to have some sort of interesting tree. I mean, you've got to. The legacy of 05 and the Iron Regency, and the jewel of Samberry. You have to have some interesting stuff. More civilian factories. More. Just keep building. Just keep building. More. What do? We build. Our entire nation must be covered with civilian factories. But I think this is a good time to end this episode. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.